Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, January 18th. I hope you had a great long weekend, or at least a productive one, or, maybe just got a little extra
MSFT
rest.
and AP.
That would always be good. Lots of earnings coming out this week. Be sure to check your earnings calendar. Go to earningswhispers.com if you're not sure when something reports. Remember, a lot of times on, especially if you're in TOS, it'll give you dates down here at the bottom, but I still go and check those elsewhere just in case. If you can't find the earning date either on a chart or on a simple search, be sure to check the investor relations of that company's website before getting into a play. And always remember, if right now there's a lot of banks reporting, so that the whole sector kind of moves together with that. So you will see, even though maybe your bank had good earnings that you're in, another one didn't, well, in the sector, drops on that news. So kind of keep that in mind as well. There's a lot of sympathy plays out there. But right now, let's just take a look at the ES, the futures pushing back down. Last night when I first came in and took a look, they were just kind of flat, nothing really exciting. And Asia had ticked up just a little bit. Well, now we're right back here, closer to the lows, below that little bit longer term of a trend line. And more importantly, we're here back below the 50. Last week, we came in on Friday with a pretty hefty gap down and pushed right back up into Thursday's, let me get this line out of here, Thursday's price action, but still below the 50, right? So we close, so this was Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So Monday, Thursday, and Friday, we all closed below that 15-period moving average, and that's a pretty important line for us to get back up above and for a continuation on. Until then, do I think we're failing? Well, we could be setting up a head and shoulders. We could be. We don't know yet. If the pattern isn't quite finished, well, it could be. I guess if we, depending on how we work it through here today, this could be kind of a little bit of a funky head and shoulders, which is a bearish look to the market. But until we kind of see where we end up today, maybe even tomorrow, I would be a little bit more cautious in just thinking that is like, this is the top and we're going to start heading down. We don't know that yet. Really, what I see is more of just a lot of chop and indecision as we constantly are waiting for the Fed to tell us something, which is just mind-numbing and painful, isn't it? All right, well, anyway, earnings season is here as well, adding another layer of volatility onto the market. And perfect earnings just means we go down. I swear. It seems to be the way it goes. So we'll continue to watch here as we get through these earnings. I think is a better plan is to trade, but maybe keep your overnight exposure down a little bit more than maybe you normally would. Take profits just a little bit sooner. We've done pretty well with some of those industrial stocks, defensive plays, and energy. Oil and energy have done really well, so that's kind of where we're focusing today. That being said, there's a few others in here that I want to take a look at as well. Okay, but that's the SPY. Quick look at the oil futures, again, climbing, getting ever closer to that most recent high that we had. I don't know about you, we went and filled up over the weekend, and it is painful. Although not, the prices have come down a smidge here where we are, but overall it is pretty painful, and actually really trying to make sure to consolidate our trips when we go out just so we don't have to fill up as often. So yeah, inflation, it's a real thing, and energy, something that we all have to use. It's not, that's not really an option, whether you're heating your home or you're out driving around and going to work, running the kids or whatever. Those are all things that really hit our pocketbook, plus the cost of food, everyday things. So market's really struggling to digest all that and figure out what the Fed intends to do, and the government, I guess. But anyway, here we are, oil continuing to creep on up and looking for higher highs here and a bit of a breakout. So that's where we're kind of look to begin this watch list. We're going to look at some energy. We traded CVX on Friday really well, had a nice bullish open candle there. We do have earnings coming up. So CVX right back on the list. XOM you can pretty much throw a dart at any of the energy names, and they are moving really well. The two that I have set up here, I'm going to start with FANG. Right, this one can be a little bit choppier, but beautiful close there. Breakout on Friday. We are inside that candle here this morning in the pre-market, and I'm looking for a break. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, I take that back. We are not. We look to gap up over this. Sorry, over this one. What I would like to look for is maybe a little bit of a pullback, but overall, I think I would just take this off of an ORB and holding Friday's close would be the most ideal. I do have the entry listed here as 129.35, which is the high from Friday, with a stop of 127. So if we gap up where we are now, about 132, I'd probably tighten that up a little bit, take it off of an ORB, and give myself about a $2 range to trade in there on the FANG, or on FANG rather. So I like the 135s right now. And if we continue to move, the 135s will be really nice. If we fall back a little bit, you could look at the 130s. But I like the 318, 135s at this time. Nice bullish flow. And we did close. We snuck in a close right up above the monthly pivot here. And we're holding that so far this morning. So keep an eye on that. If this one looks like it's moved on a little bit too far for you, there's plenty of other ones to take a look at here. So, VLO, PSX, MPC. I mean, there are a ton of them in here. Go take a look at another one, but most of these are looking to gap up. You could always just play XLE. This is the sector energy sector ETF, and you can see we blew through a long-term trend line there on Friday. So all of these look good. Now, this gave us a really nice play on Friday for a day trade, and I would probably lean toward that, or maybe only keep half exposure overnight tonight. All right, SM is the other one I did set up here, a little bit different area of energy, but you can see we made this nice little W pattern, or continuing up here. Like the look of this, and we have not hit the breakout. A little bit cheaper, great for equity or for those options. And in the option side, I am looking at the 40 calls here as we go into the day. So 40, that'll give us the breakout, and I like the entry around 36.70 or an opening range break. Again, a lot of these are going to be looking to gap up a little bit. SM here in the pre-market is actually hitting its monthly pivot, and getting through there and holding is a really nice look. I like that. That pivot is at 37.45, so that's the area that we are going to be watching. But again, lots of energy names to take a look at. All right, Boeing. Well, Boeing came in last week and did some really good work here up off the 50, and then it said, you know what, the 50 is great and all, but I want to get up above the 200, and look at this. We had an we had a nice close. We pushed up above the 200, closed just below it, and then on Friday we came in and put an inside candle in. So we like it over the high or the close from Friday, and I would use the 200 as a stop here. We do have earnings coming up very quickly. I still like to push these out to March, because it slows down the decay a little bit there. But if you like these at the 218, that's good too. 225 are the ones that I like, and pick your expiration date according to your own risk plan, and making sure that it closes over the 200 again. If it falls below the 200, I'd probably step aside fairly quickly on that one. Procter & Gamble, look at this, a really beautiful climb, took a little break, big climb, took a break, and now this might be setting up for a head and shoulders, but for right now, some of these defensive plays are really a nice little place to hang out. Earnings are, okay, see, even I have to check earnings every now and then. I think I missed this, but I thought we had a couple days for the earnings, but they may be that they are tomorrow. Yeah, so tomorrow morning. So just on a day trade here on Procter & Gamble. Sorry about that. I thought I had another day on these. Nice little consolidation here. We are below the 20. But nice little look here as we get ready to go into those earnings. So take a look at these for a day trade. I would look at the 160s. We traded Caterpillar on Friday. This one played out really well. We have a couple more days until earnings. So we like Caterpillar. I like the 230s up above the close, or an ORB from Friday. I like John Deere as well. You know, whenever we look at Cat, we pretty much go back and look at Deere as well. I like this, right? So nice little flag forming in here. Didn't really care for the options as much. We'll see if some more activity comes into these. We have a little bit longer before earnings here on Deere, so another one to take a look at. And believe it or not, I do have a few in the tech sector, which really seems to be our weak spot here in the market. But looking at TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor, so they had earnings, big bullish gap, came in. And this today, we are red, we are inside this candle here, but looking for a push through the 147.75 in TSM. I like the 140s, I like the little bit of a protection, but if we go down and fall into this gap, I would be out very, very quickly. I think this sets up for a pretty decent day trade. AMAT came in. I don't remember what their news was from Friday. I know that they had some news, but we are now putting in a little candle here right at the top of this. So this one, good for a day trade, wouldn't hold it overnight, but then I would watch and see if we have put in a candle right here near the top of this stick from Friday. Look for then the follow on tomorrow. So we're going to watch this one nice and closely. Right now, I like the 170s here in AMAT for a day trade. And this one was on our list at one point last week. Well, let me see. I do not know why all of a sudden my chart won't populate. Of course, it's just the way it goes, right? All right, here we're going to put it on this chart. VIAC. So VIAC, nice move up. Took a little bit of a break, made a nice little basket. I like it to test this trend line and continue on. It is below the 200, so be cautious of that. But a nice overall reversal in the downtrend that we had there. And it's pretty orderly, moving its way back up here. So keep an eye on VIAC at 40. Great for equity too in this one. It's not very expensive to add to your portfolio. Some others that had some movement on name last week. MGM, LVS, Win. So a lot of these gaming, casino names looking pretty good here. Well, maybe not CZR, but several of the other ones look pretty good here. Really like the Win chart the best. We're coming right up here. We tested that point of control, pulled back a little bit, but looking for the continuation. Again, another one that's below the 200. Earnings are coming up. Just looking for some follow through on here. Some of the other travel names did pretty well as well on Friday. So lots to look at here. But again, be cautious, be patient as we continue to really chop around without any good direction. So keep as much of your cash as possible. It doesn't mean that you should be fearful in trading. It just means that you need to really honor your stops and not talk yourself into holding something simply because you feel like it should move in the direction you want, or you just don't want to take that loss. Take it a little bit earlier, preserve your capital, and then use it later. All right, that is it for me here this morning. If you have any questions, Heather C at givingtreetrading.com.